August 30th, 2016, garden update. It's been very hot. It's getting toward the end of summer here in North Carolina, and that's always a pretty brutal time. It's been close to 100 degrees for a long time now, dipping down to the mid-90s. But even though it's so hot, I've started getting my fall garden going. I actually ended up getting some plants in the ground about mid-August, so about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I got some kale in the ground, some couple different kind of collards, and some broccoli. I'd like to get some stuff in the front yard too. I've got 2 4x4 beds up there that my peppers, they're on their last harvest. I just got a little bit more out of them. I think I got one more harvest out of them if I wanted to wait, but I doubt I'm going to. I'm gonna go ahead and pull those up and get something in the ground here in the next couple days. I'll get a little more sun out there, so I think I'll be alright, even though I'm getting a little bit of a late start on it. But I just did a quick harvest here for dinner, and I got some decent amount of collards from the collard tree. The Swiss chard's still going. The Malabar spinach here is still going good. And a few more tomatoes. I'm getting the last of my tomatoes and the peppers, like I mentioned. But there's the tomato plant over here, and it's still got some left in it. I'm gonna let it keep going. I was thinking about putting something underneath the plants, but I think I'm just gonna let that go, finish up, and get some compost down and let it winterize. But I ended up pulling my larger compost pile and getting it in this bed here and these 2 beds. I had a compost bin out there. You can see the black matting that's laid out. That was my compost bin. But that was a perfect amount for these 2 beds. It gave me about 2 inches on each one. The only problem is I had a bunch of hay bedding from my chickens that the seeds didn't get composted all the way, so I'm starting to get some grass come up with it, but let's see, there it is. It's not too bad. I can just grab it and flip it, and it kills that. So I just need to come in and flip those once to get all that grass from coming up. But this is, I did 3 red boar. Let's see, red boar kale, and those are just getting going. They're about 2 weeks old, and they're looking healthy. They're starting to put up some new shoots. Swiss chard's still going. I thinned this out and left 3 plants here and really trimmed it back so I can get some new growth coming out. I'm just starting to get some of this new growth. They were getting kind of gnarly. I hadn't picked those in a while. I did that with all of my Swiss chard. I had a couple Swiss chards in here that I really pulled back, and trying to get some new growth on those. But this is a new bed this year. This is kind of just, I let it go wild. But it's dandelion, Swiss chard, perennial arugula. It was radishes I let go to seed. I saved all those seeds. I need to put those radish seeds out, actually. That might be something good for my front yard since those grow so quick. And my friend gave me a couple asparagus. And I've been debating on doing asparagus back here for a long time. There's one that just popped up, one to fern. And I've been hesitant because it's kind of shady back here. So I didn't really want to put a long-term crop like that with not knowing if it was going to work. But after seeing those few plants that I put in the ground, and they were just, pretty pitiful looking roots too. Probably 1-year roots. I think I'm going to go for it. It'll be fun getting this dandelion out of here, which I might not even try. I might just leave that to keep going with dandelions and this perennial arugula. Just letting that spread out here to be a batch. And then do like the second half of this 10-12 foot bed as asparagus, and just watch it, see how it does the next few years, and maybe expand it on down through here. But you can see that sun break there, even in the, the spring, you kind of get the same sunscape here, where you get the last half of that bed that gets some sun, but the first half here doesn't. But that's still to be determined. As I said in other videos, the Malabar spinach was a complete success. I've seen videos that says it needs direct sun. I've seen videos that it can do partial shade. So all over the place I've seen like what you can do, and that seems to be true. I mean, you can do it on all of them. I had a bunch in this front bed growing up, some strings, and it did awesome there. It actually grew so thick and it yanked down half my strings, and so you need some, if you're going to grow it really thick, you need something kind of hardy to hold it up if you're doing, every 4 to 6 inches on each plant. Or you just need to harvest it every time it grows a couple feet and just keep on harvesting it. I left a couple to grow up here. There's some growing up there, some growing up there. So in this big raised bed it did well. In the ground it did well. It did well everywhere, really. The collards, I got some collards in the ground. I'm going to do collards here, 4 collards, 4 broccoli, and 4 collards. I got 2 different kinds of collards. If I can find the... Oh, there they are. Let me get it here. So the first batch of collards are the Georgia collards. Can't go wrong with those. Georgia collards here. Champion collards on the back row. And broccoli, green magic broccoli in the center here. They've been growing good. I've been debating on if I want to keep the tree collards or not, and I think I will. What I noticed was the ones that with the tips, I had just 3 tips left over from last year. They ended up growing a lot better. So I'm going to save just the tips, maybe some stakes, we'll see. But those do pretty good around here. They really start doing well in the end of the summer here. I'm thinking about maybe doing a bunch of stakes there. Or maybe, I'm not sure. I need to think about it. But I'm going to save a couple of those and keep those going. The Jerusalem artichokes have continued to do well. And you see how tall those are. They're starting to fall down. Luckily I had some wires up there to hold it. But I think I'm going to have a ton of Jerusalem artichokes there. And next year I'm going to raise that bed a little bit just to get some more volume to grow more of those, since I like those so much. The one experiment I did this year was the ochas, and they did not do well here in North Carolina. They're just way too it's just way too hot here. As soon as that heat came on, they just shriveled up to nothing and disappeared. So ocha did not work. I think those work probably better in the wetter, cooler areas where you have a little bit milder summer than here in North Carolina. But yeah, that's about it. 2016, August 30th. Getting the fall garden going. I think, oh yeah, on this bed here, I also did a couple of different lettuces. I've got arugula planted here, here, and lettuce there, and under that collard tree. So that should start popping up soon. In the front gardens, I need to get those peppers out and get something else growing there. I think I'm going to try to get some, like I mentioned, some radishes and maybe some lettuce up there too. I'm going to actually run up to the hardware store here soon and see if they've got anything good for cheap up there. But, yep. Oh yeah, one more thing. The spinach, the Egyptian spinach, I got a really late start on this thinking I'd be able to get away with it, and I didn't quite. But I could still get a couple meals off that if I wanted to. This one's growing, and this one's big enough for meals, but the main reason I was wanting to grow this year was to save the seed pods and pick them when they were young so I could pickle the pods. If you ever grown this, you'll know they'll put off these seed pods that are about 2 to 3 inches long, and they almost, you can pickle them like cucumbers, and you can eat the leaves. But I'll definitely do a leaf harvest here after a while, but I was really wanting to get those seed pods, and it's just starting to flower, so I think the seed pods are going to come on, but I didn't get an early enough start with this to really make that work. So that's something I need to hone in a little bit better about, giving this Egyptian spinach enough time, and finding a place to plant it, because usually I'm planting that after the other stuff is done, and it just didn't time out this well, or this year that well. But next year I'll have a dedicated bed for it and let it go to mature and harvest what I can. Yep, that's about it. Peace out.